This allows you to record. Okay, cool. So pause. Oh, okay. All right, cool. So as with all text messages, the Bible is left up to interpretation. And when we read the Bible, it mixes with mentality, it mixes with experience, and mixes with situation. It gives birth to interpretation. Now, sometimes I read the Bible and I read Matthew 6, verses 19 to 34, and I get a funny interpretation. And I think that my interpretation is the way it is because my dad was a pastor and my mother has been studying the Bible with me since I was 5. And aside from that, my dad he was always a visionary leader and an entrepreneur. And in the time that we spent together, his passion about his entrepreneurship and his projects would overflow. He always had some kind of bright idea or a project. Anyone that's my friend knows that I'm gonna call them and say, hey, I've got an idea. And yeah, my dad always used to do that to me, and it always used to be in the morning when I was trying to sleep. But yeah, my dad's entrepreneurship and passion, that's how I remember him. So when I read this verse, it screams entrepreneurship to me. So today we're going to talk to coach, speaker, and entrepreneur Kymone Hinds, and we're going to see what lessons we can get from him. Kymone, thank you for coming.
Hey man, thank you for having me on, Daniel. I appreciate it. I'm excited about what you're doing here. So let's do it.
Awesome. So straight to the questions. So you made the jump from secure employment to entrepreneurship. What was it that made you make that jump?
It's interesting. I had there were ideas that were inside of me that I had kept down for a while. I thought about starting something of my own, growing it, passing it on to my own children. And I guess just like everyone else, you want security, you want stability. So because those things were important to me, I sort of buried those ideas, those dreams. And I got to the point where I realized I was 40 years old. I kind of looked down the line and I said, do I want to look down the next 5, 10, 20 years and say, what would have happened if I did, and regret not even trying? And so at that pivotal time, I took some time to think, to pray, to get clarity on what I could do. And when I found that clarity, I decided to step out because I wanted to at least be able to say, I tried, I went after it, I gave it my best shot. And let's see what happened.
And with a job, you don't build anything for your kids. It stops when you stop.
Sure. And, I think I'm not, there are people who are working jobs and that is your dream job. And I just want to encourage you, keep doing that. It's weird that I went from a dream job, which was planting a church, having autonomy, to stepping into a dream that I had sort of really put away for a long time.
Yeah. I'm not putting down jobs. I like to eat. So what has that jump revealed to you about the character of God?
It's interesting, right? What I've learned in terms of the character of God is, and it's something I sort of understood before, but I see it even more, that God is moving and speaking in places and to people who are not, who would not be our usual suspects. People who may not even share common beliefs of just basic things that we all believe. But you see it as I'm interacting with people now who don't claim religion or claim Christianity. You're seeing that God is moving, God is speaking to them. And I realize that God is always going out. He's always taking the entrepreneurial risk of going after those who he's seeking to bring to himself. And so I'm learning that God's main activity is in the world and not really just confined to the church.
So it's almost like he's taking you as a minister from one platform and place you as a minister in another.
Absolutely. And I think just, being a minister, I'm learning, does not have anything to do with standing behind a desk,
Hmm.
wearing a suit. It just really has to do with your heart toward seeing people and serving people.
Yeah. Awesome. So how does security have a 9 to 5 job? It's it's great. I have one, but how do you think it takes away from building faith in God, possibly, or
Um,
do you think it gives you a different view?
I think so. I think faith is something that needs to grow, and
Hmm.
for some of us, I think whenever God wants to grow us, He moves us out of our comfort zone.
Hmm.
And that comfort zone might be moving you from one job to another where you
Hmm.
knew the job, you knew the people there. You have to move to a new situation and
Yeah.
learn everything over from the beginning. Or it could be God moving you, like me, from a steady to having to like go out and hunt and find and
Yeah.
grow and learn. And
Yeah.
it takes another level of faith to do what I'm doing now. But
Yeah.
who knows? Like you can get to a stage where
Yeah.
business is doing well and you can
Yeah.
settle into depending on yourself.
The
And so
same comfort.
I think for my own understanding that God stirs us up at times to help us grow.
Hmm. So how can you ensure that you don't, like, I'm not, maybe I don't know your life. I don't know if you were comfortable before, but how do you ensure that you don't, get into the comfort where you don't grow?
That is hard, right? I think I think once I take my eyes off of the real source,
Hmm.
then I can get comfortable, I can get complacent. And to me, there are places God will lead you to that are places of obedience. Like, oh, go here, it's obedience.
Yeah.
And if you stay there past when you're supposed to, it becomes a place of disobedience. And so
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me, it's always being willing to listen to God and to move where He says. Look, like I don't put it out of the realm of possibility that God could say, now go back and pastor and do
Yeah.
that. And to stay doing this would be disobedience. So
Yeah.
I want to be open to that and not
Yeah. Yeah.
put down anchors.
Open to listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell me what you've learned from your entrepreneurship.
What I've learned. I've learned I've learned that the quicker that you can answer a few questions, the
Hmm.
more successful you'll be. And one of those big questions is, what problem do I solve? I
Hmm.
think it is great to understand what skills you have. I think it is great to understand what you enjoy doing, what passion you have. But I think it is even more important to figure out what problem you solve for people. And once
Okay.
you answer that question well, answer the who you solve that problem for, then you can begin to grow as an entrepreneur and as a business. Like, is it that people are hungry and you're solving their problem? Is it that people are looking for healthy options and you're solving their problem? Whatever it is, figure that out really quickly and be true to that who and what their problem is.
Awesome. Um, awesome. Yeah, I like that answer. And I teach my kids that all the time. Like, business is about solving someone's problem. So we shouldn't just walk around thinking everything is all good. We should look for opportunities to resolve problems.
Absolutely.
Um, so what has this experience revealed to you about the character of God, and how can you share that with people in your new platform?
Sure. I just feel like God is always seeking, always in search of human beings, and I think in this new area, like I think I think just now, right? Like you might say the security of a job, but look how many millions of Americans just lost their job, and they're
Hmm.
wondering, okay, where is God? And God is always seeking. God is always
Hmm.
near. And my
Hmm.
message to people is that we never confine God to just one area of our life. God is not just the
Hmm.
God when you go to a house of worship. God is the God. When you're on your job, when you're in the unemployment search, like when you search for, God is the God when you're stepping out in your entrepreneurial journey. He is there
Yes.
with you in every stage of life. And I just want to encourage people in that. Let's not ever confine God to, okay, when I go there, that's where I go meet with God. No, God is with you when you're at your job and working with your kids. God is there.
Uh-huh. So God is transferable to any situation.
Absolutely. He's
That's
there. Yeah.
that's
He's not
awesome.
with
That's
us.
that's funny, man. I was reading this book, and it has a name similar to yours in
Pull
it.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what your book's about. Just how can I get this? Yeah, that's fine. And then, just being church wherever you are, and you've kind of demonstrated that with your life. You're not just preaching when you're on a pulpit. You're preaching, but to a different audience when you're doing entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you've definitely blessed a different demographic of people.
Thank you.
So
I'm wearing my shirt today, by the way.
oh yeah. That's awesome. That's so you can buy your book shirt where?
KymoneHinds.com. Simple. Yeah.
And the book there too?
So the book, you can find the link for that there. And the shirts, actually, it's IamTheChurch.me.
Is what?
IamTheChurch.me. M-E.
.me and KymoneHinds.com.
Mm-hmm. I'll just make it simple. I'll put both of them on IamTheChurch.me. So no one has to remember two things.
Okay, cool. So so people don't know, maybe people don't know this about you, but you're a co-founder of an entrepreneur factory. You make entrepreneurs at your house. And I'm wearing the T-shirt of one of his. Oh man, I got a cramp on my leg. I'm good, right? I'm wearing the T-shirt of one of his entrepreneurs right now.
The more we know our history, the more powerful we become. By Slade Proud.
Yeah, I love this T-shirt, and I'm glad that I'm working from home, so I have the opportunity to wear it.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's can't be too black and proud at our job. But so tell me about how you got into the teen entrepreneurship.
Sure. Take you back a few years. I worked as a youth director, which meant I coordinated youth activities for Conference of Churches. In the summer, I would run summer camps, taking kids and helping them to learn things. So in my transition, I wanted to do a summer camp, but virtually online. And my goal was to teach kids how to start a podcast. I have a podcast. Yeah. One of my daughters, my 12-year-old at the time, said, "Dad, that's not a good idea. But if you teach kids how to start a business, I'll take your camp." And so I put it out there and I got interest from others. And she did take the camp. And coming out of the camp, she started her own business called Slay All Day Nails. I have two daughters and a son. She started a business called Slay All Day Nails with press-on nails for busy women. Her older sister saw her success, came up with her own idea, and she wanted to teach Black history because the problem she was solving is she saw that Black teens didn't know their history, so they were falling into like believing some of the stereotypes that they were presented with. So through apparel and education, she's empowering Black teens. And my son, who's the oldest, he does the videos for his sister. So everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And what I love about it is they all are operating in their own gifts, their own abilities, and still growing and learning.
So all the Hinds are slaying.
Yes, that's good.
So your daughter taught me that I'm a king.
There you go.
And I hope the glare from my crowd isn't interrupting this video too much. But you have a teen course coming up. Mm-hmm. Tell people how they can access that.
Sure. Actually, my daughter and I taught this course. We had 10 teens that came on. I mean, it was just amazing. We recorded it. We put other resources on there, and you can go get it all at ideastolife.me/teen camp. Ideas, TO Life, me/teen camp. I'm like super excited about this because
Oh,
those
I'll
kids
add it to the
figured out,
comments.
yeah, those kids figured out what their business idea was. They got clarity, their business model. They figured out their marketing plan, their finances, how to start with little to no money, and how to do their sales pitches. So I really want more teens to get the opportunity that my teens are getting to experiment, learn, grow. I mean, it's just, I want them to try this out. So ideas2life.me/teen camp, you'll get recordings, they'll get orientation, and they'll get live weekly Q&As where we'll be working with those teens on building their business.
Awesome. I'm gonna check it out. And I know a lot of people have teens, and they will have teens. I'll have teens soon. Hopefully not no time soon. But
How old are your kids?
6 and 5.
All right, add that together. That's 11. So you got 2 more years.
Oh man, that's terrible, man. That's not encouraging. So oh yeah, one thing I was thinking is like you got Caribbean parents.
I do.
The mindset of children is changing because like I know when I was growing up, if my parents said they were doing something, I wouldn't tell them that that's a bad idea. Because there's consequences to that.
That's funny. Probably.
I mean, yeah. It's just the
No,
interaction
right.
is changing. I'm sure that it was the same, kind of similar for you.
Yeah.
You would be like, Dad, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what?
You find out what a bad idea is.
Yeah. And it's weird. Like my daughter is very assertive. She doesn't take no for an answer. And she makes a great entrepreneur. Sometimes it's a challenging kid, but she's a great entrepreneur. Doesn't take no for an answer, negotiates, resourceful, like very determined. Yeah.
Maybe it's because they were made in the factory.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. My wife is the determined, doesn't take no for an answer person. And so I think my daughter got the honesty from her mom.
Awesome. So last question. So people watching are going to make mistakes, right? So we want to know what mistakes did you make so we can learn from your mistakes so we don't have to make them.
Sure. I think in my transition, one of the things I wish I had done better was prepare myself sooner. Like start doing research, understanding things better, so that I could have built a better ramp. Now, I didn't start, I didn't jump out without any sort of preparation, but I wish I had prepared better.
Yeah.
And one of the things it would have allowed me to do was to figure out my lane faster. So when I first started, I was really all over the place because the biggest priority was making money. But there were sometimes I was making money, but it was killing me in terms of the time I was spending. So those kind of all added up. If I had prepared better, I would have figured out my lane faster. I'd have been able to figure out what to say no to. And that's as important as what to say yes to is what to say no to. I just want to encourage people with that.
And I guess even though you feel like you should have done it faster, God knew his timing.
Yeah.
So maybe you learned just in time to receive some of the opportunities that you've had.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like, I can't remember where it says, but don't look down on small beginnings. Like you have to start somewhere.
That's right. Don't despise the day of small beginnings. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for talking. I just wanted to encourage everyone else to check out Matthew 6 verses 19 to 34 and tell me about your interpretations. Tell me if it makes you think about entrepreneurship. We're not saying that jobs are bad. Quit your jobs. We're just telling you about what Kymone's been through.
Awesome.
Sorry?
I said awesome.
Yeah. Well, and thanks for talking. Thanks for watching.
All right, man. Blessings.
See ya. You're very blessed.
All right.